No. Um, Hi everyone. Welcome back to the Our Hockey After Hour. After a long hiatus from last show was July, we're back.
Yep.
And, I just unplugged my earbuds. Oh, okay, here we go. And we're back, and with us tonight is Ben, who goes by on Reddit as Condor Avenue and on Twitter at Dancing on a Highway.
Yeah, except for it's like HW.
WY, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And Britt, who goes by both Reddit and Twitter, Pit at Pit Pens Pats, or P3 for short.
Yep.
Still can't say that. And
It's okay. It's a tongue twister.
and I'm Andrew, and I go by on Reddit as Apad, and on Twitter at Andrew Paddock. So we're back. Preseason hockey's back.
Woo-hoo.
Woo! And so what do you guys want to talk about?
I don't know. The Red Wings beat us, and I'm kind of mad about it. Even though it doesn't really matter, but still the Red Wings. I don't want them to experience any success ever.
It's all about winning the preseason, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, that's how I got a shirt from at Patrick Kane. Or you, Patrick __ Kane.
Hmm.
Got me a Brandon Saad t-shirt because we won the season series with the Hawks because we won 2 preseason games and then a regular season game, but we lost the big game against them, the one in Soldier Field.
Oh yeah, that game was weird. That was in all the snow.
Mhm.
Um, well, the Islanders won today, 3-2 against the Senators in St. John's, New Nova Scotia.
I don't know. I think it is Nova Scotia. Hey, pizza.
Why are we talking about Canada?
Because we're a hockey podcast.
What did I just
like
miss?
Canada.
What is happening in this podcast?
Hi, Ron.
What?
Hi, Ron.
Yeah, we're gonna bring in our guest expert on Canada.
Howdy.
There are reports that he's even lived in Canada for a brief time.
Yeah, a brief 22 years of my life. What would you like to know about Canada?
I mean,
Very
I spent
Canadian.
an afternoon in Canada.
Does everyone wear Don Cherry-esque shirts, or suits, rather?
Guys, one at a time. I can only take so many questions at once.
Does your head flap around when you talk?
Only when I'm really excited.
Okay.
Is Scott a dick?
Next question.
Better question.
Well, hold on.
What the hell is going on?
I have just summoned a demon to join us on this podcast. No big deal.
Yeah, he turned on both mics.
Did we just enter another dimension?
It's been a long off season, guys. It's been a long off season.
Yeah. We're like 3 weeks later than we intended to be.
Yeah.
No one needs to know that.
Well, now they do. Get back in your dimension.
Anyway, Canada.
Is St. John's in Nova Scotia?
Or is it Newfoundland or New Brunswick?
I did not catch that.
Is St. John's in Nova Scotia?
That does what? There's St. John's is Newfoundland, I think. I know there's like a St. John somewhere else in the Maritimes, though. I don't know how you guys didn't like figure to Google it.
I think I
It's
just
like
did.
2014.
Oh wait, no, that's the wrong St.
Like
John's.
a lot of people Google things.
I don't understand this thing. What is a Google? Is it like a
This thing
goggle?
that you used to look up pictures of Marian Hossa.
Oh, you mean the bunny finder.
Yeah, the bunny finder.
Okay, St. John's with an S and generally shortened to an ST. That is in Newfoundland.
Okay.
Now St. John, I think is New but I also don't know my Maritimes that well. In fact, I've never been to the Maritimes. I just know that they do their own thing, and they're never gonna have a but you know.
Interesting. Well, the Islanders played a game today in
Anyway.
St. John's.
What have I missed? Give me a primer. Give me a primer while we're on the air.
Primer?
Okay, well, so far there was this sport invented called hockey, and it's played with five players and a goalie. And well, I've already messed up. And the unless of course we're playing with Patrick Wan, which gives you six players on the ice, one of which you can beat Gretzky. So yeah, that's kind of a brief summary.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if you wanted me to, I could talk very briefly about how.
About.
Anyway, it's just fun to watch because they got like 60-man rosters getting pared down to like 23-man rosters, and it's just funny seeing these massive.
Yeah, preseason
I've
is.
had a split squad thing going on today because I know they played the Leafs today, and then I think another squad played the Capitals, and I think everyone was just watching the Capitals game because I went on the Reddit thread for the game thread on Reddit for the Leafs and Flyers game, and I swear it was all Leaf Flyers in there. It felt almost circle jerky.
I don't understand split squad games.
Yeah, Arizona and LA are in one right
more
now.
players get more ice time, and that's pretty much the only reason, so that they can make more decisions.
I guess.
The Leafs have one on. Leafs have one on Wednesday, I think.
Who is
I know
it
one of the
playing?
games is against. I know they're playing Ottawa in one of the games. I'm not sure. Give me a sec.
Yeah,
Let me look
it's
up this
usually like you split with the same
preseason
team. It's like a home and home.
Well,
I
the
guess,
Flyers
you know,
didn't do
that
that
makes
today,
sense.
so
Can't have two teams on the same sheet of ice. Well, actually,
sort of, except they're going at like the same time.
yeah, I know. I'm confusing myself.
So anyway, let's do a quick.
Well, again, it is just the preseason, so nothing to. Basically, I think we should all just be thankful that there is some damn hockey to watch on the television. Yep, Wednesday. That is Senators at Leafs and Leafs at Senators. That'll be fun. God, that is going to make for one confusing day on Reddit, because they're going to have literally one thread that is Senators at Leafs, and then another thread that is Leafs at Senators.
Yeah, it will be.
But yeah.
So what do you guys think about the how the conferences are going to shape up this year?
I've
noticed.
16.
Oh, well, should I start?
Plus like the forfeitures.
So how much in total?
It's like 15-15, so call it 15.
Okay. stupid Brandon Marshall.
So,
It's the same thing about Keenan Allen.
what I was gonna say was,
Did
Tampa
Andrew's
is
voice
kind of
change?
No, that was my roommate. We had to settle a bet involving fantasy football and Chipotle.
That was
I was gonna say that didn't sound like Andrew at
Explain
all.
your
I was
No.
very thoroughly confused.
No, he so the bet was winner had to buy the loser Chipotle, and I was gonna win if Brendan Marshall got at least 1 point tonight, and that did not happen. So we ended up tying, so I have to pay for my own Chipotle, which I got before the
That-
game started. So somehow the Chipotle cursed Brendan Marshall.
Oh, that's your fault.
You can't see it, but I'm nodding my head and pretending to understand.
Okay.
You know, actually, really recently, I have a fun story. It's not a very fun story at all, actually, but recently my cousin from Hong Kong, he's like 30-something years old, he visited, and one of the things that we did was we went to a fairly far-off mall, which is 30, and one of the reasons why we went was because there was Chipotle, and there was a lot of places that you wanted to go and shop there. So we went there. First thing we did was we sat down, we got some Chipotle, and we ate, and we got really damn full. And then after that, we went and browsed the mall, and we were like, yo, this is pretty boring. And then we went home, at which point I realized I drove for like a net amount of maybe at least an hour, possibly more, probably more because of rush hour, and all we did was get Chipotle. Just to get Chipotle.
I don't know. Chipotle
Right.
needs to be like a
It
pilgrimage.
was worth it.
Sometimes you just have to answer the call for Chipotle.
I haven't had Chipotle in
I know.
like months.
Although he's since left, and among my regrets that I didn't take him to, I didn't take him to a proper poutine place, and I didn't get Five Guys with him. That makes me sad. 'Cause that means I would have had poutine, and I would have had Five Guys.
You should have just did all three in one day. Then again, that's
But
probably not
anyway.
healthy.
That's probably like I don't think a stomach can handle a Chipotle plus Five Guys fries and a burger.
And you know they serve shakes
Not all
now
at the same time,
Five
but
Guys
I'll be
too.
very honest, that the week that he was here for, it was not. Really?
Yeah.
Like really, that week was not healthy, because, like first day that he shows up, we go and get, like, this greasy Beijing food, mostly just because Beijing food is kind of greasy in general. Like, I know we went for hot pot at one point, we went for Chipotle, as I mentioned. We went, got, small plates or something at some seafood bar, so basically it was just a shit ton of food there. We also did pizza. It was a great night.
course
Actually, it
we did
was pizza and sushi on the same night.
Sounds
What
like,
else? I know we did a lot of food. Oh, I made grilled cheese for him, and it was disgustingly bad.
I've
In a
been
good way.
craving grilled cheese.
Also, there was pretty much drinking every night. If I was not able to do a podcast last week, it was because I was busy getting really fat and drunk like every weekend. Or not weekend, every night. And my body kind of regrets everything. But it's family. How long has it been since I joined? Because I'm curious to see how long it took before I started deviating from hockey and started talking about food again.
We started this at 12:17, so.
But he came in later.
Oh yeah, true.
Even like less than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I think this is a record for me.
But anyway, Ben, what was your question before we
I
got?
completely forgot.
It was about the divisions.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, how do you see the division shaping up this year?
Wow, let's see.
The team I'm most interested in seeing is Tampa Bay, because they have so much stuff that they can improve on with their young guys getting older, but at the same time, I don't think Bishop's going to produce even close to what he did last year.
I think I drafted him.
Hmm.
I'm excited to see Florida. Because with Luongo and their young kids getting older and better.
Yeah, Ekblad turning 19.
No, but like they have Hubie,
Damn, that makes me feel old.
they have
I know, right?
Barkov, right? Alexander Barkov.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have him and Bukestad. And I think that Florida could, throw in some surprises there.
Yeah, I get the impression that Florida not either, but pretty much has to go all in at this point because they got Luongo, who's in his, I'm not sure if it's his prime, but he's in a pretty damn good state, and you've got all the young guns already. And while I don't agree on the Bolin signing, I'm very thankful that they signed Bolin, and I feel like they really gotta kick it into gear now because you're not gonna tank with a goalie like Luongo. It's simple and put. Actually, I don't know if that's true since Buffalo tanked for years with Ryan Miller, but I feel like with all the pieces that Florida already has and Luongo, I feel like that's going to be a lot more difficult.
Alright, controversial opinion. I don't think Ryan Miller is that great of a goaltender.
As a Leafs fan who has seen this man over and over again, I'm inclined to disagree. Because he shut the door on every. But yeah, I don't know.
I mean, a lot of teams shut the door
I think he's good.
on.
Probably
I think
die.
okay. I'll put it this way. I think
hate
he's
you.
overhyped.
But anyway,
Ron's bad cell reception is making for some pretty funny comments.
Yeah.
are you sure it's bad self-reception and not just me angrily shouting words in a very disjointed
Yeah, it's cell reception.
manner? I could be doing that.
You said, are you, when you were saying disjointed words, you said disjoint. So, unless
Also,
you can,
it took you a while to react to my, joke.
The Wi-Fi in my room sucks. But yeah, if we're still going on that same question, I'm going to be super, super, super homer and say that Boston trips and falls and fails miserably. Tuukka Rask gets hurt and is gone for the whole season. Chara is old. The rest of the team is old. Marchand nose in flames even larger, and they crash into a spectacular mess. And that spectacular mess hits Montreal and takes them out of the running too. That's just me though.
I think Dallas is going to be really fun to watch.
And Tampa and Florida and Buffalo all make it up.
Yeah, I agree. I think Dallas is going to be.
I am kind of just waiting for Boston to eventually get old and flounder, though. It's going to happen at some point, and I will be so smug and annoying to deal with when it happens, but my God, when it does, I will be there, and I will watch every single second of it.
That's
You
good.
know, I think it's funny how you can't wait for Boston's demise, but you don't even think it's in the realm of possibilities that Toronto could be good. Not even thinking that that's a thing that can happen. You're just like, oh, I can't wait for Boston to be bad. I can't wait for Toronto to be good.
I actually think they'll be decent this season. I don't think they'll top the conference or anything, but I think they'll sneak into the playoffs. That's my cautious optimism speaking.
I don't know.
Anything more, and it's unrealistic, I think.
I think you could be right because I think the Met is. I think the Met's going to send 3 teams to the playoffs. Maybe
Right.
4 teams if the Islanders get good.
I think we're going to be a playoff team this year, possibly a wild card team, probably.
Yeah, you probably I don't know. I think it's the Rangers and the Penguins would be the top 2, and then Washington, and then either someone from the Atlantic or the Islanders.
What about Columbus?
Oh, I forgot Columbus is in our division.
Yeah. And it's also the Devils too were on the fringes of sneaking into the playoffs last year, so who knows what they could do this year.
Yeah, but they're getting older.
That's true.
Like their roster is like a bunch of dinosaurs.
Yeah, that's true. And anyway, speaking of the Met, I'm actually very excited and very optimistic about this Islanders team this year. I think we could not only make the playoffs, but possibly win the first round.
Oh man, that's pretty high expectations.
Uh, so it may be some blind optimism, but who knows?
I think that's just called confidence in your team.
Uh, it's been a little tough being an Islanders fan for the past, so maybe.
Oh, I know. But like, it sounds like you're becoming confident in what Garth Snow is throwing together and putting on the ice.
I think it's also the confidence comes from the fact that in 2 years Charles P. Wang won't be owning the team.
Yeah.
So, yay. And we actually did have a pretty good off season, to say the
Yeah,
least.
the Pens did all right in the off season.
Yeah.
Well, the jury's still out on us because we're still like $2.5 million over cap.
Oh yeah. What are you gonna do about that?
That's a very good question. I keep thinking, oh, it's gonna happen soon. They're gonna have to get rid of someone. Then it's gonna be the day before the season starts, and we'll be asking the same things. So I have no idea. I guess my gut is telling me that they'll trade Oduya, but I've proven myself completely inept at predicting Stan Bowman. Talon was easier. He was more predictable. Bowman, I'm completely lost with all the time.
What happened to Ron?
I guess something with his Wi-Fi.
Oh.
His wifey.
I'm just gonna spam invites because I can.
Buzz, what are you doing? Stop it! My fingers in food.
And done.
Is that like the max amount of invites you can send somebody?
No, I did like 7 invites, and then after a while, I got bored and stopped doing it. So there's only so many times you can pester someone before you get bored. Anyway,
So what teams do you think are gonna totally bomb this season? Besides the easy ones like Vancouver.
Unexpected ones are just gonna because I don't know where the cutoff between easy one is.
I guess you're
Yeah.
right. I think I think that the Avalanche won't do as well as they did last year.
Well, I mean, just considering how well they did last year, I think that's kind of almost a sure thing.
I think they'll do well, but they'll regress to the mean.
Yeah, same. Even though McKinnon's not getting any worse, nor is Landeskog, nor is O'Reilly. They have a really, really good forward core that I could see them still competing for the Central Division.
They have a really good forward core, but their defense is lacking.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. They don't have the defense of Chicago or St. Louis, but, well, it depends. It depends what happens with Chicago's defense. But I could still see them competing for the Central. And
I mean, yeah, but like
the
that's
Central is still kind of up in the air just because we don't know what Chicago is doing yet. But St. Louis, I think, is if Chicago is allowed to play over the cap, Chicago would take the division, in my opinion.
well, duh. Most teams would be a lot better if they were allowed to play over the cap.
Tell that to the Senators, who I think will be a flop this year. I think the Senators won't be even close to the playoffs. I'm going to pick the Senators to take a lottery pick.
Huh.
I think Nashville won't do that well.
Yeah, their best scorer is Shea Weber. So, yeah.
No, it's probably going to be James Neal.
Yeah.
I think the most goals a given player had on that team last year was 24.
Yeah, but the thing is, they had a lot of players with 24 goals.
No, they had one. I think they had like 3 over 20, and one of which was a defenseman.
Oh, okay. Maybe it was a few years ago where like they had a bunch of 30 goal scorers, but no 40 goal scorers.
Hold on one second. Yeah, Craig Smith had 24 goals. Shea Weber had 23. Oh, sorry, they had 4 20-goal scorers. Hornquist at 22, Fisher at 20.
Yeah, but Hornquist is now a Penguin, and Mike Fisher is out until December.
So your two players you can rely on to score more than 20 goals are Craig Smith and Shea Weber.
Yeah, but
20,
they did have
not
James
30,
Neal.
not 40.
They did have James Neal, but James Neal is not going to be the machine he was without Evgeny Malkin.
Like, who else could even has the potential to score 20? Like, Legwand, maybe? Colin Wilson
Yeah.
in a good stretch?
Isn't
Nystrom?
Legwand a Red Wing?
Oh, yeah. Wait, yeah, I guess he is.
Yeah, he got
But
traded.
he went some... Yeah, he did. Yeah, he got traded mid last season. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, he's a Red Wing. He's
Yeah.
been a Red Wing. I mean, they do have like some young kids.
They have Stahlberg. I forgot about that. I keep forgetting we gave him Stahlberg.
Mhm.
And Clune. They can... If penalty minutes were goals, they would be set. But, yeah.
I mean, so would the Senators.
I just think that Nashville doesn't have anything even remotely close to something you could call an offense. And Pekka Rinne is... I know he's been considered elite, but people kind of go back and forth about him.
The thing is, he's
If your save percentage is a 902, you're either not elite or your defense is just giving up breakaway after breakaway. Nashville has to like completely change everything if they want to. I mean, it seems like they're going after McDavid. Like I'm not sold on the Predators at all.
I think the Flyers are in the shitter. And it just makes me so happy.
The Flyers, at least, unlike the Senators and the Predators, because I think the Predators and Senators are both like well under the cap. But the the Flyers can at least spend up to the cap. They're
Yeah,
not limited financially, and they still have, Giroux, Umberger. I
Wayne
guess
Simmons.
yeah.
Yeah, but their best defenseman is what? Braden Coburn?
Mark Strite's pretty good. I mean, he's old, but he's good.
Yeah, but he's like ancient.
He's what, 36?
Yeah, that's like super old.
He's got that old man strength.
Yeah. I just remember a few years ago, like, he was out for like half a season.
Yeah, I remember that.
And yeah, like he got like something happened like during the off season, and he was like listed as out. And we're just like, oh man, Mark Streit. And then it was like the same. It was the year after Mark Savard, and my friend Sarah drafted Mark Savard in her first round, and then Mark Streit in her second round. And we're like, Sarah, you drafted like two dead players.
It's all about those ghost points.
Yeah,
How many teams were in this league, and what pick did she have in the first round?
like she like 8.
What? Okay, that's stupid.
Maybe it was later.
28, that would be bad.
Maybe it was later. I don't know. Also, we were all like fantasy hockey noobs.
Okay,
And
well, Stell.
Oh.
It was fun.
But yeah, the Flyers. I mean, I don't know. I don't think they'll be as good as last season. I don't think they'll take third in the division. But they're not going to be better than the Pens or the Rangers. You'd have to.
I don't know. Steve Mason can go either way.
That's the thing. That's why I think the Flyers are still going to be good, but they're not going to. I don't think they'll be the third in the division. I think that the Rangers and Pens are pretty much the top two.
Well,
And
yeah.
then, I mean, the Blue Jackets probably not. The Capitals possibly.
I think the Capitals
Devils.
have a better chance than the Blue Jackets.
Oh,
Because
definitely.
they added, Brooks Orpik and Matt Niskanen, who are both, not scrubs.
It's
Matt
just the only
Niskanen
team
is a
that
good
they're
player.
not worse than is the Islanders, I think. Sorry, Ethan.
Carolina.
That's okay.
Well, okay, sorry, not definitively worse than, because, I mean, New York Islanders don't have even, like, close to a defense right now.
Yeah, no, it's still a little porous.
Did you remember that Carolina's in this division?
Yeah, but it's still not as bad as New York Islanders defense.
No, okay, Carolina is a
Yeah,
terrible team.
yeah, no, Carolina's worse than us. Carolina's worse than us.
Carolina may be, like, almost as bad as Buffalo.
At defense?
At life. Just like the whole
'Cause-
team.
I don't know, I'll
Like,
put
as a whole.
Hainsey and Sekera, I'm going to put above guys like Ahan and Visnovsky, who's older than Strite, I think. Actually, I don't know. They're probably close.
I think Wisnowski's 39.
Yeah, I don't know. They're
Yeah.
I just don't. I just think that the Islanders have nothing even close to defense. If they're gonna do anything, it's gonna be on the backs of Tavares, and Grabner's gonna actually make one of those really strong offensive runs, but sustain it this time.
Not fall down.
Yeah.
Who's our goaltender?
The Islanders or the
We have
Penguins?
Halak and Chad Johnson as backup.
Oh, you have Ochocinco?
Yep.
Interesting.
And
They changed his name back to Chad Johnson.
I mean, the one good thing about defense, I don't know how good it is I think this is the year Griffin Reinhart gets called up to play. But I'm not sure how that will be because this will be his first season. Just I hope so.
I think the Pens defense is going to turn out interesting this year because I have feelings that Paul Martin won't finish the season here because he's not going to re-sign and we're not letting him go for free. So I have a feeling Jim Rutherford may deal him out sometime during the season. And if he does, then we'll have a bunch of young kids.
Yeah, I guess you have to balance, especially with a hard cap, you have to balance sustainability versus, putting the best team on the ice right now. And I think with the Blackhawks, it's all about putting the best team on the ice right now. Where the Blackhawks are going to be terrible next, not 2014, 2015, but 2015, 2016, the Blackhawks are going to be terrible.
Yeah.
Maybe not miss the playoffs, but they're going to go from
hard.
Yeah, they're going to go from constantly competing for the division to fighting tooth and nail to get into the playoffs.
Huh. Interesting.
Because Kane's salary is going up to 10.5, Taves' salary is going up to 10.5, and then you have $6 million tied up in your goalie. That's $27 million contributed to Kane, Taves, and Crawford.
Yeah, that's a lot of money for,
Yeah, I mean, Taves and Kane are really, really good, and also, if Hossa retires early, there's a cap penalty there because of the ex post facto implementation of the cap recapture thing with the new CBA. So Hossa can't retire early, and he's not getting any younger, even though his play doesn't indicate it. So pretty much the Blackhawks have to hope that Hossa gets injured when in 3 years from now when he's no longer worth his cap space, put him on LTIR, and then just pray the cap goes up absurdly, and that all of a sudden free agent asking price is like $10 million for a second line forward. If all of that happens, the Blackhawks might be competitive 3 years from now.
Yeah, but then there are teams I don't know, Pittsburgh, who has Sidney Crosby for 8.7 and is getting Malkin for 9.5, I think it is.
Exactly, and that's why I'm saying those salaries for Taves and Kane were way, way, way too much because, maybe they saved $1 million off of the free agent market price. It's still, you need to take a bigger hometown discount if you want to be a good team in a sport with a hard cap, because most teams are spending up to the cap.
Yeah,
so you need multiple people on cheap RFA deals or taking big hometown discounts, just like Crosby did. And half the reason why the Pens are good is not because they have Crosby, but it's because they have Crosby at $8.7 million average annual value.
Yeah, and the reason we have
It's all about your cap space. Are you worth your cap space?
Huh.
Yeah, but we do have Chris Letang going up in cap this season. I think he was at 3.5, and now he's moving up to, I can't remember what he's moving up to. But we're going to start paying more for him, and he needs to step up in a big way.
Yeah.
I think Mike Johnston wants him participating a lot more in the power play. I've seen mock-ups of the power play strategy, and oh man, it's gonna be beautiful.
Would they release that stuff?
Well, no, I mean he's just practice.
Oh, okay. I feel like the Blackhawks power play, at least last year, got extremely predictable. To the point where, even I could tell you what was happening. It's oh, well, they're going with these personnel versus these personnel, so this is the formation they're going to run. Mm-hmm. It's it just got so obnoxiously predictable. Even on the radio, they'd say something like, the obvious setup to go here is going to be, something like this. And then Quenneville does it. It's like he's going with what's technically correct, in a vacuum instead of what is the opposing coach going to do to try to counter the obvious play.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I'm not completely confident in our coaching abilities, and or in our coaching staff, and I think that Quenneville might be a tad overrated in that department. So, well, I guess that's his only department.
What's that ringing like clock noise?
Oh, that's a clock. Indicating that it's midnight.
But it's 12:58.
Yeah.
Yeah, the clock's off by 2 minutes.
Okay.
12:59.
I'm really excited to see how the Penguins are going to shake up this year, because Mike Johnston is kind of an unknown entity. Like, he didn't really come from anywhere, like from the pros.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I heard that he's dealing with pairs rather than like lines for offense. So it's going to be like Crosby and Kunitz, Malkin and Hornquist, and Sutter and Bo Bennett, and then they just fill in who's appropriate for the time being. So I don't know. It sounds really interesting, and I like the idea rather than just like rigid lines.
Hmm.
This season's gonna be fun.
Yeah, and this is going to be the last one that's going to be fun. But on the bright side, it's ticket prices will be going down in 2 years. So,
This will be the last year of the Coliseum.
oh yeah, that too.
Oh,
Yep.
that is exciting.
I saw it rated as, I forgot where it was, but it was rated as like one of the worst stadiums in professional sports. Like, it was rated worse than Oakland's Coliseum.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have a sewage problem like Oakland does, but it's a really dumpy place, but it's still a great place to see a game. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
I think we've had this discussion before where I was likening it to Wrigley Field being a dump, but it's our dump, so we kind of love it.
Yeah.
You pee in a trough and stuff, but it's our home.
In many ways, it's like Shea Stadium. Like, Shea Stadium wasn't that great of a stadium to begin with. It was just dumpy. The seats were off kilter because they never oriented after the Jets left. But it was still a nice place to see a game. And it's going to stink that they're leaving Long Island, because this is really the only professional sports team that has ever been on Long Island. I mean, Queens and Brooklyn are geographically on the island, but it's going to stink. But hopefully it works in Brooklyn and they make the necessary modifications to the Barclays Center so that they can thrive and get a good attendance going.
Yeah, because as it stands, it's a pretty small arena, if I remember. It had, like, what, 14,000 capacity or 15,000? Something that's much smaller than the average NHL arena.
Yeah, it sounds about right. And isn't the smallest arena right now the one in Winnipeg? The MSTS?
That sounds right. Actually, we can...
Oh, that's right. We have technology.
Yeah. List of hockey arenas by capacity. Yeah. Surprisingly, the 16 on the list is in Cologne, Germany. I feel like I know that from something, but because the DEL has 2,000, 3,000 fans per game.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, the Jets Stadium for hockey, it holds capacity by 15,004.
yeah, and The Blade Center in Saskatchewan's bigger,
Jeez.
which and they pack that place too.
For hockey in the Barclays Center, the capacity is 15,813. Last January, I went to a Nets game, and even for basketball, it's really a small arena, which is interesting considering it was built for basketball. But yeah, I just hope it works and they make adjustments. That's my one concern. Also, I get enough people to go to games from Long Island via the Long Island Railroad, which in itself can be a mess to take. So
Yeah.
it's like it's really a new chapter. But it's an exciting one.
Yeah, so
Reunions are always fun. I mean, it was sad to see the Melon go. The Igloo was a wonderful place, but Consol is gorgeous.
It looks like a nice stadium from TV.
Oh, it's amazing. So though there are no cup holders.
Are you serious?
There are no cup holders.
That's a deal breaker.
My friend, his parents have been season ticket holders since like the early 90s, and he said that at the season tickets holders meeting, they like when they were getting a new stadium, it was like we want cup holders, and then they're just like, well, okay, we'll do it, we'll get cup holders, and then they didn't get fucking cup holders, and everyone's just like, what the fuck, where are our cup holders?
that could just be, something that some small issue that came up that, like, I don't know, just watching the Wrigley Field renovations kind of unfold. It's amazing the type of things that can hold up a project.
But
So,
cup
it's
holders, they're just cup holders.
yeah, I don't know what to tell you. There was, I guess, they didn't even send it to the Landmarks Commission to get it approved when they had wanted it to the third time, I think, because, the city didn't have time to discuss it yet. So it was just like, if there's a way to hold it up, they will hold it up. So now we're just waiting on a court to either give an injunction or not. And on top of that, whether or not the federal tax credits go through, because now the federal government wants to have a sit down with the Cubs, now that they finally cleared the obstacle of the city, which took like 3 years. So, but anyway, enough of baseball. I could go on about that, though.
Yeah. Well, it is that time of year too, so playoffs and all that stuff.
Yeah, there's a very a nice transition straight from baseball ending to hockey beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Hockey preseason begins right when you're coming to terms with the fact that you're not in the playoffs again. That hockey season starts right as the playoffs start in baseball, so perfect timing.
Wow.
I really hope the Pirates make the playoffs.
They're one away from clinching a spot. It's just what that spot will be.
Yeah.
I hope it's a division because
Me too, because the
it's getting
Cardinals suck.
boring seeing the Cardinals win every year.
I know. I hate them.
Try infuriating. I wouldn't say boring.
Well, I'm not a fan of a National League Central team, so
But you're also a fan of an MLB team not named the Cardinals.
that's true. That's very true. Yeah. Then again, I just want Derek Jeter to retire because the whole final season tour is getting like really irritating.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad that it's like his final year, but it's kind of like at this point beating a dead horse.
Yeah, I it's at least you can just buy the next superstar though, so you'll be fine.
I don't want to
Oh,
do
you kind of
that
did. You
anymore.
kind of did though. You got with Tanaka.
Yeah, and I actually wish we just shut him down for the rest of the season instead of having him pitch on Sunday. Yeah, Sunday to a 75 pitch limit. But it's actually getting kind of boring seeing the Yankees buy superstars. I'd rather we go back to developing players again and having a good core.
Hmm.
So, and the funny thing is, actually, I just forced retired the guy who was head of player development in the '90s a week ago, Dave LaPointe. So they have no one in that position right now.
Mm.
So interesting times for the Yankees.
Yeah, and one thing that really irritates me is how the Cardinals had almost the same revenue as the Cubs last year, and the Cardinals still qualified for a competitive balance pick.
Yeah,
So you can be one of the best teams in baseball with a huge fan base, but because St. Louis metro area is smaller than most other metro areas with a baseball team,
they get the
despite
competitive
having
balance pick.
90% of Missouri and about 60% of Illinois, you get a free draft pick and the slot money that goes with it.
Jeez.
So, yeah.
I didn't even know those were a thing.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh should get one every year.
I think they do.
Yeah.
Okay. Because, like, do you know that Pittsburgh is the smallest market with 3 professional sports teams?
I believe it. Wait.
Yeah. Hmm.
Buffalo
Wait.
Bills, Sabres.
They have
They
a
don't have,
AAA team.
yeah, they don't have a. Yeah, that's it. Um,
If I wonder if Seattle still had the Sonics, I wonder if Seattle would be in that argument.
I don't
well,
know.
Seattle's a
Pittsburgh,
bigger metro area than Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
true.
Because, like, Pittsburgh metro area infringes on a few other metro areas.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah, there's like Cleveland.
Cleveland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're bigger than Cleveland. We're better than Cleveland.
And you guys don't catch rivers on fire.
Or get overhyped about Johnny Manziel.
I mean,
Johnny Manziel's I've decided to call it the Tim Tebow phenomenon. It's
it
where
is.
I don't know if I want him to do really well because of how many people it will piss off, or if I want him to do really, really poorly so he fades into oblivion and ESPN shuts up about him.
I just want everyone to shut up about him. I want him to shut up about himself.
Hence the name, the Tim Tebow phenomenon.
Yeah.
Like,
You're not sure if you want him to fade into oblivion and have him suck, or if you want everyone to get pissed off and because he does really well.
no, I don't want that.
Pretty much, I don't want him to be mediocre and just good enough to stay in the NFL.
Yeah, but then if
I mean,
he's really good, then people won't shut up about him. It's like, how
yeah, but it'll piss off a lot of people too, and they're not going to shut up about him unless he fades into oblivion.
exactly.
So I guess you're more on the oblivion side.
Yes.
See, I'm
Because
more of a Skyrim person myself.
I
Thank you for
definitely
laughing. I was hoping at least one person would laugh at that. Thank you.
I
Nice.
I understood the joke. I just never played an Elder Scrolls game.
Oh, you're missing out.
Wow.
And yeah, I did just check. Pittsburgh is one of the teams that's competitive balance pick lottery.
It
Teams.
makes sense because we've sucked for 20 years.
20 years.
Yeah. Apparently it was awful. I was only there for the last few years, which those last, like, when I started watching junior year, Oh God, it was heartbreaking. Because
Yeah,
that was
I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't understand this whole heartbreak in baseball.
the most heartbreaking thing was that game against the Braves. That like 17 inning long game.
Oh, the Jerry Meals game.
Yes, the Jerry Meals game. Oh
Yeah,
my
that
God.
was a disaster.
Oh my God. That's the worst.
I feel like that was one of the games that led to Major League Baseball taking up instant replay
Yeah.
and all the things that happened in the playoffs too.
All I'm gonna say is 2003 NLCS.
The 2004 ALCS did not happen. It's only an urban legend.
I don't know who Steve Bartman is, and who was it? I forgot. Was it
Alex Gonzalez at
Alex
shortstop.
Gonzalez? I always forget who it was. Yeah, Alex Gonzalez with the ball between his legs after Mark Pryor was pitching a gem.
Yeah, although Dusty Baker did overwork Mark Pryor.
Yeah,
Just,
but
just saying. Aside from that,
Dusty Baker wasn't the best coach, and I was one of those guys that like bought into Dusty Baker for the same reason I bought into Kenny Williams with the White Sox, because it was, oh well, he led a team to a World Series recently, so he must be good.
mm-hmm.
And then it was like, no, he led a team. He kind of lucked out. Both
Yeah.
of them lucked out. Well, I guess Kenny Williams wasn't a coach, but still.
Um,
The White Sox did not deserve to win the 2005 World
oh,
Series.
because of the what happened in the ALCS against the Angels.
Oh no, I'm just saying they weren't the best team in baseball that year.
Oh yeah, true.
I mean, when you look up and down World Series lineups and pitching rotations, you're usually blown away. The 2005 White Sox, it was like, yeah, they had good players like Konerko and Dye and Pierzynski and Burley, but I mean, it wasn't one of those. It's not like the current Dodgers or the.
Yeah. That was like John Garland's only like stellar season 2 in his career.
Yeah. I mean, the next year their bats got, or at least their talent at hitting got better.
Yeah.
We've strayed pretty far from hockey, but that's okay.
Yeah, I've kind of zoned out because I don't know that much about baseball. I've watched like maybe like 30 innings of baseball this season.
Ugh.
I've watched way too many games.
Yeah, I don't have cable.
I've watched 30 innings of like single A.
all them Chris Bryant games.
No, 'cause Chris Bryant wasn't in single A though. I'm talking just
true.
like I was talking King County Cougars, who are now moving to
Oh.
South Bend.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm talking like I wanted to see Dwayne Underwood start because he might be decent in 4 years.
That reminds me. I should watch Aaron Judge play.
I don't know. I think that there are so many right-handed power bat prospects that he's
Yeah.
kind of falls among the. He just looks intimidating because he's like 6'8".
It seems, but from what I've read so far on blogs, SB Nation and stuff, is that he might be the guy, but they're not sure.
He might be a big guy, but they're not sure. Like, I hope they don't mean physically, because he's physically a very large person.
No, not physically. Like they're the next up and coming guy. Then again, they've been wrong so many times at this point.
Well, I mean, baseball's
I
hard.
think it's kind of like a weather forecaster.
Yeah, it pretty much is.
You can't really be mad at someone when they're wrong about predicting how well someone's going to turn out.
Especially like goalies. I mean, baseball isn't goalie hard to predict, but it's not easy either. And I mean, even just saying that he might be the next best thing, but they're not sure.
Yeah.
That actually kind of says a lot. It's saying that he has a really high ceiling but a really low floor.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just kind of jealous of the Mets right now, and they're all all their great pitching prospects.
Yeah, they have that Syndergaard guy that started out really rough this season,
Mm-hmm.
but he's playing AAA at
Yeah.
21 years old. AAA at 21 years old. I mean,
Jeez.
let's calm down just because he had an ERA of like 5 something to begin the season when he was 21 years old playing in AAA.
They also have Mats too, is considered another good prospect, and
Mats, I don't know. I'm not really sold on Mats, just because I don't think that he doesn't have the pitching repertoire that I think you need to be a successful pitcher, unless you have a ton of control. Which I think, like, he reminds me of a kind of like an Aaron Nola type pitcher for the Phillies, but without Nola's control.
right.
And I think if you're going to have an underwhelming fastball,
Just get stashed in the bullpen then.
he had, yeah, but yeah, I guess.
Or trade bait.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But at
Yeah.
the same time, probably every MLB GM is thinking the exact same thing.
That's
but
true.
only on one level beyond that. So I'm not going to give too many. I prefer to give big picture analyses than specific analyses, but at least when I say, this team should do this, because it's like, no, they know way more than me, they're way more educated than me. But if I was in their situation,
Yeah. I was like at the trade deadline, I kept saying the Giants should trade for Dan Murphy.
oh, no question.
Yeah, which would have been much better than picking up Dan Strugler.
I mean, yeah, they have just so many. They have so many good pitching prospects that they can deal.
It was just that the worry was like, because it was all focused around like what were they going to do with Kyle Crick? Were they going to keep him, trade him? They did keep him.
Yeah.
But the concern was what is Kyle Crick's ceiling, and are we sure he's the guy who we want to keep or we want to trade? Especially now that he's in Double A.
Yeah, he needs to work on his control a lot, but I mean, if he gets that down, he's going to be sick. Same with the guy they drafted, Tyler Beatty. He is going to be sick if he can just have a little bit better command of his pitches, especially his curveball.
Yeah.
If Tyler Beatty can command his curveball.
I think the other knock with Beatty is they want him to develop like one more out pitch too when he's in the minors.
Yeah, because right now he's just fastball, curveball, change, right?
Yeah, they want him like to have like one like niche pitch or something.
Yeah. But at the same time, I mean, Kershaw right now is surviving on a fastball, slider, and curveball pretty much.
That's
like,
true.
90% of his pitches, probably more, are fastball, slider, curveball.
Then again, when you... Oh, go ahead. No,
I was just going to say that, like, when I'm looking at players, I kind of think, yeah, it's you probably want to have a fourth pitch because, you're not Mariano Rivera. You can't just throw cutters all the time and get everyone out. At least you shouldn't be banking on that. And you probably don't have the insane movement that Kershaw does. So, I mean, it is good to have that fourth pitch. But, I mean, I don't think that he can't be competent with only 3.
Yeah. Then again, man, Kershaw is such an extreme example just based on, like, how lethal those 3 pitches are for him.
Yeah.
And just how otherworldly he has been this season.
Yeah. And last season, he had like a 1-8.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah. So.
Dominant.
Yeah. The guy who I think could survive on 3 pitches, who's coming up, is going to be Carlos Rodon.
Oh, yeah.
because he's an amazing fastball. He's a slider that's Kershaw-esque, and he has a changeup which, I mean, if he can disguise those three pitches and make them all look the same, I think that he could. He has a really good shot of going really far, especially since he's so close to, you know, there aren't as many question marks around him. I mean, he's already pitching games.
Yeah. God, that 1-2 Chris Sale, Carlos Rodon in the future is going to be deadly.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
They'll have like an all left-handed rotation with Quintana and all those guys. But yeah.
And yet, for some reason, I have a feeling it could work.
Oh yeah, I mean, the whole point of switching up your rotation is because you want to be able to force your opponent to make certain adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but I mean, if you have 5 amazing pitchers, I mean, what are they going to do? Make a trade before the ALCS or something?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't think that you need to have that variety. It helps, but if you have, let's just say, 5 pitchers with an ERA of 2.8, and you can pick that or 5 pitchers alternating left and right-handed with an ERA of 3, I'll take the all lefties or all righties with the 2.8.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
that's a good point. See.
Anyway, back to hockey. So,
Dude, the Penguins' new alternates are sick.
Yeah, I'm not a Pens fan, but those are some sexy jerseys.
yeah, I completely agree. It has that. It has a little bit of classic with a little bit of originality.
Yeah. Fleury's getting his bright yellow pads. It's gonna be so tasty.
As long as it's not neon.
Is it like a mustard yellow?
Okay, if you Google what Fleury looked like in like 2003, that's what it is. Just like Google Fleury yellow pads.
That's what I'm doing right now. Very. Oh, okay. Ooh, that's gonna look really nice with that third.
Yeah, it's gonna look amazing.
Ooh, yeah, that looks nice.
It's gonna be obnoxious. It's gonna be amazing. I love it.
It's like a giant caution sign, though.
I'm a fan of using pads that are designed to look like the net.
Yeah.
I wonder if that would actually work. Like, I'd love to see, like, I don't know, someone look into that. Or alternately, just black, because then, people can't see the rebound. But then you can't see it as well either, though. But I don't know.
Or white, because it blends in with the ice.
Yeah. That'd be... Or a picture of goalie pads, but
On the
set in the
pads.
distance. Yeah, like set in the distance. Like screw with the like
Depth perception.
yeah, exactly. The perspective so it makes it look like the pads are smaller than they are or farther back than they are.
Padception. Pads within pads within pads.
Yo, dog, I heard you like pads.
How about some A-pads?
Ooh, nice.
That's my bad pun for tonight, people. Good night.
And then, well, I guess it's already 1:30, so we might want to start wrapping up. 1:30 your coast because East Coast biased.
Yep.
So,
East Coast is truly the best coast.
I don't really have a coast. River coast, yo.
no, you can qualify as Lake Coast, even
I
though
guess.
it's Lake Erie, which is like the worst of the lakes, but
I mean, I
that's
could live
okay.
with that because, I mean, it does have Cleveland on it. Cleveland is on Lake Erie, and, you know, you can find a house the price of a VCR.
So, are we wrapping this up?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yep.
All right. So that has. Wait, no. Let me get my train of thought. Okay, now. Um, and that does it for us for this episode of Our Hockey After Hour. It's good to be back. You can follow us on Twitter at ourhockeycast.com. You can subscribe to our subreddit or our hockeycast. You can visit us on the interwebs at ourhockeycast.com. I think I repeated that twice. As for our hosts, you can follow Ben on Twitter at Dancing on Highway. That's HWY to end it. Follow Britt on Twitter at Pit Pens Pats, and you can follow me on Twitter at Andrew Paddock. And for those who don't know how to spell Paddock, that is spelled P-A-D-Y-K. Not like the English spelling, but anyway. And also to close our show, I also have a plug for another podcast too. You could listen to my roommates are doing a podcast. It's called Scatterbomb and Friends. It's their improv troupe, and they're doing basically a style that you could find like with Comedy Bang Bang or a similar podcast to that. And the podcast is Scatterbomb and Friends. You can find it on SoundCloud, and yeah, only on SoundCloud as of right now. So give that a listen to, and that does it for us. And we'll be back next Thursday, right?
This Thursday? Wait, no, I'm gonna be gone Thursday.
Okay,
So
next Monday.
we'll be back
Yeah.
next Monday, which is actually good because then we'll go back to the Thursdays during the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just I'm going to 80s night.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah. It's my friend's birthday, so we're gonna go get crunk and dance to Aha.
Cool. So that does it for us, and good night. Stay classy.